What's good, beautiful people? What's good? How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday. I hope y'all had a beautiful weekend, man. How's everybody doing, man? Yeah. Yes, sir. Come on, baby. Yeah, we gonna kick it, man. We gonna kick it. We got some stuff to talk about today, baby. We're in the home stretch of the NBA season. Before y'all know it, we gonna be in the playoffs, man. Yeah, we got some stuff to talk about. Some things I'm not very happy about, but we got some stuff to talk about it, man. Yes, sir. How's everybody's weekend, man? How's everybody's weekend? How y'all doing out there? I was actually outside this weekend, man. I was actually out for once. What does it say? Jokic the same age as... I can't see what that says, brother. I don't know why my chat is not popping up for some reason. Jokic, Suffridge, Goodrich, Lakers in 5. Bruh. I gotta reset my chat for some reason. Let me reset this. Let me refresh this because that is not popping up. What's good? What's good, Elijah? What's good? What's good, my guy? What's good, bro? Alright, man. Alright, we gonna get right into it, man. We gonna get right into it. So, everybody, welcome into another episode of the Jayson Estrera Show, where we talk about basketball as accurate as possible. Now, today, we're gonna talk about some Luka Doncic. We finally saw a classic, or not a classic, I guess, a Luka game that we've been looking for. There he is, Pookie Bear. What's up? What's up? What's good, Derpy? What's good? What's good? Am I Pookie Bear or is Elijah Pookie Bear? Oh, man, we got some shit to talk about today, man. We saw Luka be Luka the other night, and I do have some things to talk about when it comes to that. We got to talk about my New York Knicks. 0-2 against the number 1 and the number 2 seed in the East. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. I mean, I was trying to tell y'all this, man. And if any Knicks fans are out there, stop calling me delusional. Fuck, man. And then I feel like we've been talking about Anthony Edwards all season long. But he is the topic of conversation because he also went 0-2 with the Minnesota Timberwolves over the weekend. Against the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder. So we'll talk all about that today. But welcome in, man. Welcome in. How y'all doing, man? How's the weekend? How's everybody's weekend? How's everybody doing, man? How's everybody doing, man? I was actually outside this weekend. We actually went out this week. Twice in 3 days. It's a lot for us. It's a lot for us, bro. It's a lot. It's a lot. But you know, we're back. We're back to business. We're back at it again. We're back at it again. Let me see. You know, I do want to start with. Let's see right here. Listen, man. Listen. You knew it was over when we traded for Cat. The funny thing is, I'm not saying you're wrong, Derpy, but the funniest thing to me is. He's been really good this year. He's been excellent. But I do get what you're saying. It ruined something that didn't need to get ruined, right? And you know, it seemed to be a money thing with Julius Randle and his contract. So, you know, it's just listen, man. Listen, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it for sure. But let me see here. I did want to talk about. I'll start with the LA Lakers and Luka Doncic, who went on to beat up pretty much on the Denver Nuggets. What was this, on Saturday night, I believe, right? On Saturday night. And talk about just a straight beatdown. I mean, dog, like 123-100. They won from end to end. And like I said, Luka had a typical Luka Doncic type of game. And I gotta admit, man, I feel like these guys look a little bit better than even I gave them credit for. Obviously, they're two really good basketball players and really smart basketball players. I'm talking about Luka and LeBron, and they're able to kind of figure this out. So Luka, 32 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 4 steals, and a block. Only 1 turnover on the night. Shot 45.5 from the field, 44.4 from 3, and 100% from the free throw line. LeBron added in 25, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, 3 blocks, and 1 turnover. Shot 57.9% from the field, 25% from 3, and 66.7 from the free throw line. I mean, just across the board for LA, Austin Reeves added in 23 points and like 7 assists. 21 from Rui. Just their core guys really got the victory. For the Denver Nuggets, it was a triple-double for Jokic. 12, 13, and 10. Obviously, 12 points isn't what you're looking for. Aaron Gordon finally had a solid game, 24, 5, and 4. But Michael Porter and Jamal Murray, the two guys that have been really scoring a lot for this team, just didn't get their buckets. Whoa, a Knicks fan talking positive about LeBron. It's the apocalypse. Listen, man, I'm very open about how I feel towards LeBron, but the guy can fucking play basketball. I mean, it just is what it is. Sometimes it feels like, I'll give LeBron this compliment sometimes, right? Because he's obviously on the court playing. And from our perspective, watching it where we can see everything, sometimes it almost feels like he can see it from our perspective, the way he's able to like manipulate the game. And it's wild to me. It's wild to me. I had questions on whether he could relinquish control. By every account, he's a very controlling personality. But I guess when you run into someone that you could sense is very similar to you in a lot of ways, right? Like a Luka, I think it was maybe easier for LeBron to do that. And maybe that's just how he never felt that way about Anthony Davis. And this is something that I spoke about, over the summer, right? Maybe he never saw Anthony Davis as someone that can maybe get close to him. And maybe he sees Luka as someone that can. And that's why this transition is a little bit easier. The other thing, too, there were reports that Luka started working out when he went to Cabo or whatever the fuck it was, right? I don't know if this is placebo or if my eyes are playing tricks on me, but when I watched on Saturday night, it looked like Luka already lost a little bit of weight. Am I alone in that? Did anyone else see Luka and say, did he lose like 7 pounds already? It was weird. He just looked a little bit more engaged, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about and when I say that. But he looked really solid the other night, and that's obviously really positive if you're the Lakers. And he's gonna make mistakes, right? On defense, he's gonna make mistakes. He's gonna have his lapses, but if he can be pretty consistent, sky really is the limit for them. I'm gonna show these two plays right here on defense, where I feel like he was trying to do the right thing. Granted, Denver scores, I believe, on both of these possessions. But like I said, he looks good. He looks like he's trying to do the right thing. He looks motivated. I'm telling you, people are overthinking it. It's two MVP guys. No, he just looked like he had a better attitude, but it's the same thing in Dallas. He blew the Charlotte game. Which Charlotte game? Which Charlotte game? Where is this other stop that they did not get? trying to find the plays right now really quickly, y'all. Oh, it's right here. 150, and the other one is right here. Okay. So they're pretty consecutive. All right, so let's take a look at this, because obviously defense has been a topic of conversation when it comes to Luka. So let's take a look at these two sequences, and I think they're positive signs. I think they're very positive signs, right? So let's take a look at this first one.
Fans here.
Granted, this is the first quarter, right? He's still fresh, right? You know, you want to see someone play defense later in the game when they're tired, but still, we take the little positives. Oh yeah. He did blow one. But like I said, you take the good and the bad. But he does look more engaged than he's looked before. So let's take a look at this.
Brings it up.
He saw Russ already. And this is the thing that frustrates me about Luka when it comes to defense, because he's such a smart offensive player. You know, we've seen Jokic do this, right? He's not the greatest one-on-one defender in the world, but you'll see Jokic a lot of times, you know, dictating traffic for his team, telling them what the team is about to do, what a player is about to do. And it looks like Luka might be starting to do that a little bit more. So he had already seen Russ right here. I'm gonna try to point out. He looks over. He already sees Russ right here, right? Already sees him. He's already pinpointed him out as someone that could potentially be a part of this play. He did this touch. He rotates over. Granted, he rotates over really hard, and Russ just makes a great move to stop and go. But again, positive, right? I don't remember how many times I saw him doing that for the Dallas Mavericks. This play is the same thing, because, you know, I was talking about how Jokic could kind of dictate on defense, and this is where I think he kind of does something very similar, right? He's pointing him out. Right? He's gonna try to get downhill over here. He does make the mistake. I don't know what happens over here. He's like trying to box out his man in the corner for some weird reason. He should have sealed Bron right here, and he gives up the play. But like I said, I think he's trying a lot more than we've seen before. And obviously, like I said, you take the good and the bad. I know this was he said my bad right away at the end of that play as well too. But again, right, I think for a lot of people it's the effort. When we give someone credit for being such a high IQ player, how is it possible that it only applies to one side of the floor? So it looks like it's translating a little bit, and I don't know if he's motivated because of the Dallas trade, if JJ Redick is in his ear, if LeBron is in his ear, whoever it is, right? Whatever the reasoning for it is, you love to see that. I will say the Lakers won 123-100. Outside of the four players that scored 20 plus points, right? Luka had 30, LeBron had 20, Reeves had 20 plus, and Rui had 20 plus, right? If Rui doesn't get his 21 points, this game looks totally different. Because outside of those four players that I just named, the rest of the team scored, 10, 16, 22 points. The rest of the team, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The other 9 players scored 22 points together. We've talked about, we know what we can get from Luka, especially when healthy. LeBron obviously, and Austin Reeves has really, shown that he can play in this league. can they count on Rui to go and get 21 points consistently? Because like I said, if he had one of those stinkers, right? If he had 10 points, 9 points, this game looks a little bit different. And then on the other side for the Denver Nuggets, Jamal Murray, who's been really playing well lately, only had 19. And then Michael Porter Jr., who's also been a very good scorer for them, only had 13 points. How often are you going to have that between those two? And then on top of that, Jokic only had 12 and shot 7 times. So, it's a positive if you're the Lakers. But when you start thinking about this in a 7-game series, how often can you depend on Denver to play like that and Rui plus whoever to play the way that they did for the Lakers, right? So I think those are the questions that the Lakers are going to have to answer. I do think that they're still a ways away, but they have 20-something games to do that. And I think offensively they'll be just fine. That, defense is really going to be the question for them, especially lacking a big man. And like I said, 7 field goal attempts for Jokic. It's almost as if Denver was trying different things out against the Lakers. So we'll see what happens. You love to see that out of You love to see that out of Luka. It's a good confidence builder. But again, I like I said, I wouldn't get super excited over that yet. We gotta talk about my New York Knicks, man. Let me take a look at this shit right here, dog. Let's see, because I told y'all this before, right? We, talking about the New York Knicks, we are good against every other team in the league. That's not a top 3 team in either conference. Everyone else, we are just fine against. But when you run into teams that know what they're doing, we struggle. And which one was this? Which came first? Let me see. We got beat down by Cleveland first, and then the Boston Celtics. So 142-105, we lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and 118-105. Wow, we scored the same amount of points in both games. Scoring isn't necessarily the problem. Against Cleveland, both Jalen, Brunson, and Karl Anthony Towns shot the ball pretty well. Their problem was everyone else. And then on top of that, they were fucking cones out there. Like, they literal cones. And I think that's the part that, to your point, Derpy, our team had soul last year, right? Our team didn't take shit from anyone last year. Did we get blown out from time to time? Yeah. Did we have some bad losses? Obviously. Everyone does. It's a part of the game. But especially at the end of the year and in the playoffs, we weren't taking shit from anybody. And right now, it feels like the top teams don't respect us. That's how it feels. They run their offense the way that they want to. And they don't, there's very little resistance. to their game plan. I mean, the Cavs shot 60.9% from the field, 51.4% from three. And the Celtics didn't shoot nearly as good, right? Let's see. Yeah, they didn't shoot nearly as good. They were 49.5% from the field, 38.6% from three. But the production across the board, 24, 25, 15, 19, 14. We can't stop anybody. And I've said this before, right? When you have a small point guard as your best player, your chances of winning an NBA championship goes down by so much. Because no matter how good that player is, you can put size, you can put quickness, you can give that player so many different looks compared to a player that's 6'6", 6'7", 6'8", and up. It's a lot harder to find matchups for those tall players. And so, having a Jalen Brunson be we live and die by him pretty much. It makes it extremely difficult. And I'm not going to lie, you got to chop that up to one of those nights. I feel like it can be a wake-up call, but Cleveland had it out for y'all, and they were not missing. Elijah, I think we have one win against Boston, Cleveland, and the Oklahoma City Thunder. We know bullshit I think one win the entire season against all of them. And when you think about, right, we just spoke about there's 20 games for Luka and LeBron to kind of try to get this together, right? And it's a lot of it is getting comfortable and just trying to figure the offense out. I don't think they can really figure the defense out outside of people being in the right spots, right? For the Knicks, what's going to change in the next 20 games that'll all of a sudden change the outcome of these games? Let me see. I'll pull this up right now. All right, so we are 0-2 against the Thunder. I think we only have a win against the Cleveland Cavaliers this year. Am I tripping? No, we've lost all of them. We are 2-0, 0-2 against Cleveland also. No. What the fuck is this? October 2024. Yeah, so we are 0-2 against Cleveland also, right? Let's see what they're... So we only have a win against Boston. Nope, we are 0-3 against the Boston Celtics this year. For the love of God, I hope we've beaten the Houston Rockets. Let's see. Did my internet just fucking die? No, bro. This is not what I'm trying to find. 24-25. We won one and lost one against the Houston Rockets this year. So what is that? 0-2, 0-2, 0-3, and then 1-1 against the top teams in the NBA. Yeah, it's a trend at this point. And like I said, in the next 20 games, what difference will those next 20 games make? Let's see. What's the record against Denver? We beat Denver. Oh, 2-2 against the Denver Nuggets, who have struggled kind of for the first part of the year. They've started to figure it out lately with Jamal Murray playing well, but our record is just not great against top teams is the bottom line. It starts with our defense. And without Mitchell Robinson, our defense and our rebounding suffers a lot. Anthony Davis spoke about being more comfortable in the power forward position. Cat having to play the 5 night in and night out. It's not his natural position, and I know some people don't think that matters, but it really does. It really, really does. And if you're going to force him to play one-on-one defense in the paint, he's going to have a hard time. He already picks up a shit ton of fouls. It's just not good. It's just not good. It's good for the other 80% of the league. But, that 15%, that top of the league is where shit gets really spooky for the New York Knicks. And the trend continues, man. I was really hoping that we came out of this weekend 1-1. I was really, really hoping, right, that we came out of the weekend 1-1 was all I was asking for. I think Cleveland a little bit has kind of shown some flaws more so than they did in the beginning of the year. Boston, on the other hand, has been kind of kicking up. So I thought, stupid on me, I thought that maybe we could have had Cleveland, but we got lost. We lost 142-105. This shit wasn't even close. So now we got to talk about another star in the league, right? Because I've been really critical of Anthony Edwards this year. I said it very early on. This year is going to be a key year for his career. And I don't think that has failed me at all. I think I'm spot on. He's dealt with criticism. He's had some successes. He's finally got some pushback on a lot of things. It's been a whirlwind for Anthony Edwards this year. And over the weekend, they went 0-2. He had a massive game. I want to take a look at this. Where the fuck is it? He had a massive game against... Where is this game at, bro? Here you go. Excuse me. All right, here it is. So, Anthony Edwards had a massive first 3 quarters against the Houston Rockets. They ended up losing the game 121-115. So they were right there. They were right in striking distance, and then Anthony Edwards had 3 points, went 1 for 6 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3, no free throws, with 2 rebounds, 1 assists, a block, and a turnover. And on the other side, Jalen Green had 9 points, 3 of 5 from the field, 1 of 2 from 3, 2 of 4 from the line to go with a rebound. And obviously, it doesn't come down to those 2 players. But it's so, I don't know, at least for me when I'm watching it, right? It almost feels like there's such a spotlight on Anthony Edwards' misses in the fourth quarter when the other guard or the other star player is going down on the other end and hitting their shots. Anthony Edwards ended up with 37 in this game and didn't contribute much, if at all, in that fourth quarter. And, you know, this weekend was Anthony Edwards' failure to close out basketball games in the fourth. That's really what this weekend came down to. And we can talk all about the team this, the team that. And he's spoken about it. He's spoken about learning how to win basketball games in the NBA, and he's not wrong. But this weekend was a clear sign that what he's able to do in quarters 1, 2, and 3, he has a very difficult time in replicating it in the fourth quarter. And, you know, it could be fatigue, right? In that game, like I said, he had a massive game. He had like 34 points going into the fourth quarter, sorry. Is he just tired? Or whatever the case might be. I think personally, and they've spoken about it before, but it's the double teams. It's the double teams. At this point in his career, he does not understand how to break double teams. And moving forward, he needs to expect double teams from the beginning to the end of games at this point. Professional players becoming professional talkers. When do Tyrese go viral when he be in interviews? Tyrese Maxey. Hey, man, no one is talking about the Philadelphia 76ers this year, bro. I'm so sorry. Like, that team, ain't shit happening for that team right now. He needs to leave. If he knows what's right for him, if he's seen how the Philadelphia 76ers have handled the Ben Simmons situation, Joel Embiid up until this point, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey should leave. That'll be the greatest thing that he could do in his entire career, would be to leave the Philadelphia 76ers. But that's all I got for him, bro. And watch his career take off. But here, let's talk a little bit about the OKC Timberwolves game that happened just last night. And then we'll go into a couple clips, right? We'll go into a couple clips if we can. Talks a lot of shit and doesn't back it up, right? But at the same time, trash talkers are always trash talkers. They don't become trash talkers out of nowhere. They've been trash talkers, right? When I'm looking at Anthony Edwards' career, he's in year 5 right now, right? Year 5. Obviously, he had Karl Anthony Towns on his team, so he had to share with a star, right? And so it wasn't until they traded Cat and then Julius Randle goes down where he now has to deal with double teams at any given time in the game. Wasn't until year 5. Because ideally, if you're thinking about a superstar's career, right? Ideally, he should have started dealing with this last year, a little bit of the year before that. So year 3 and 4 should have been when he started seeing a lot more double teams because, he was given that opportunity early on. And so now he has to deal with that. And so he's in year 5 now, having to learn how to deal with, with double teams. And you get really good teams that can kind of play you straight up through the first 3 quarters. And then all of a sudden, they start pulling out a lot more double teams in the fourth, and you're just mind fucked because now every mistake you make is a lot bigger because, the game is on the line in the fourth quarter. And so that's what we're seeing out of Anthony Edwards right now. I think it's also important to note that, at least compared to last year, his field goal shooting is down. His 3-point shooting is up by a lot. He was 35.7 last year. He's 40.9 from the 3 this year. But his mid-range shooting efficiency is way down. And when you think about closing games out, if all you have to rely on is a punch dribble, step back 3, or a little snatch back into a step back, you're going to have a hard time. And yeah, you might hit some of those over the course of the first, second, and third quarter, but when you're in the fourth and the other team is playing a lot tighter, they're not giving you the same looks. If that's all you have to go to is a little step back 3, then you're going to have, like I said, a really, really difficult time. And that's what we saw even in last night's game. The Timberwolves lost 130-123. And let's see there. Anthony Edwards had 29 points to go with 10 rebounds, 7 assists, 2 steals. He had 5 turnovers in the game. Shot 38.1% from the field, 30.8 from 3. Naz Reid helping him out a little bit with 22, 11, and 2 assists with 4 blocks. And then on the other side, Shea had 37. 54.2 from the field, 50 from 3, 8 of 11 from the free throw line to go with 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. I mean, just doing fucking everything. But again, Anthony Edwards with only 6 points in the fourth quarter. 2 of 4 from the field, 0 of 1 from 3. 2 of 2 from the line, 3 rebounds. He just can't get it going. And, especially in last night's game, right? The difference in Anthony Edwards versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander's ability to handle a double team, it was so different. It was so different because if you watch Anthony Edwards, right, I think if I had to guess, Edwards got dorted. Actually, no, not even. And I'll cut Anthony Edwards a little bit of slack here, Optimus Primeval. Because I'm pretty sure if I had to guess, the scouting report on the double team with Anthony Edwards would be to try to force him to the left. Because when they force him left, he literally sprints left. He's like 30 feet away from the basket, looking to pass the ball either to the slot or the left corner. That's typically how they want to play him. When he gets to his right hand in double team situations, he's much, much better. But when he goes left, he's very predictable because if he doesn't pass the ball, he's going to punch dribble, step back, or even if he does a between the leg crossover, he's probably going to step back to the left anyway and shoot. So Anthony Edwards, when he's going to the left, especially in these double team situations, he's, like I said, much easier to guard. This is my problem though right here, and this is where I gotta cut him a little bit of slack. I need to watch him intentionally better, but maybe working with Lou Will or Ish Smith may help those guys. We're good at getting their head down and drawing a foul or making a play. That could work. I think. Here, let me show you guys this situation right here, because this I think is dumb. Like, this is, he has Caruso on him, who's, obviously a known defender. You have Chet Holmgren, who is also a defensive player. Why are we running a pick and roll to involve these two players in a play with Anthony Edwards? And granted, I'm pretty sure Anthony Edwards actually scores on this, but they did this multiple times. Why are we not forcing, I don't know, maybe Naz Reid and Jalen Williams in a pick and roll situation, so that if they switch, Naz Reid could post up Alex Caruso. If they stay, Jalen Williams is a good defender, but at least he's not Chet Holmgren size. So let's play this out.
The leading candidate with Jokic.
Like I said too, right? If he gets to his right hand, he's much, much better. But this is a difficult shot.
On the drive, gets inside, reverse, banks it
in. That's not consistent. It's not consistent basketball. If you're gonna expect Anthony Edwards to see the double team, go around, do it, you're not gonna win basketball games consistently playing in that way. And it's funny, right? Because let me try to find a situation with Shea, because Shea don't even flinch when he sees a double team. There's a very strong difference on their body language when you see when they see a double team. It's almost like, like in boxing, if a boxer throws a feint and the other boxer reacts to it, just seeing the double team forces a reaction out of Anthony Edwards damn near every time. And when you see Shea, he barely reacts. He just goes about his shit. And let me see right here.
Back. Beautiful pass.
Just let this play out.
Alexander.
Like, this guy, he just knows exactly what to do when double teams come. He's really good at this. Luka's great at this too. They never give you the same look. Maybe they'll do a give and go get the ball back. Maybe they'll split it. Maybe they'll pull the ball back and drag the double team back out. They just have so many different looks that it makes double teams really hard. They use it to their advantage damn near. And just to cut Anthony Edwards a little bit more slack here. Yeah, you did, because I was about to say, when he does an outlet pass to the wings, right, to the slots, those guys have to be able to hit those threes. If those guys can't hit the threes off the first pass, then the defense gets to play him the same. And having that guy be able to hit those threes, you know, when Anthony Edwards makes a move, it gives him a little bit more room, because now that player has to stick with the three-point shooter a little bit tighter. The other part in this too, and this is really Finch's fault, right? When it comes to coaching, you very rarely see a player at the nail. Very rare do you see a player flash to the free throw line, cut to the free throw line. Damn near, you could fucking walk to the free throw line with the way that they blitz Anthony Edwards sometimes. I think it was the Houston game. Anthony Edwards caught the ball on the right side of the floor, got a pick, sprinted to the left. The picker ran to the right corner instead of flashing to the free throw line where they would have had a wide open shot. And so decision making is obviously a part of it, right? I think Anthony Edwards needs to get better in this aspect of his game. They also got to do a better job of helping him out, because they're just not doing that. You also traded his relief valve, who they have as a connector piece now. No, it's exactly right. Because what does Karl Anthony Towns do for the New York Knicks even now? Sometimes they won't even have a play. Jalen Brunson will just be up at the top, right, doing his shit. Pass the ball to Cat. What'll he do? He'll hit the three or pump fake drive. And to your point, Elijah, that frees Anthony Edwards up just a little bit. You know, because just that little bit of room can help him get around it. But also, I'm not going to lie to you. Maybe this is a nitpick, right? When Anthony Edwards is dribbling the ball, he's very wide, right? When he dribbles, it's always to the side, right? Even his moves, it's very wide. The angle that he drives at. Compare that to Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, who's running at your hip, running at your knee, trying to get to the basket. You know, because especially the way spacing works in the NBA, it's so much tighter. When you have guys at the wing and you're driving at a wider angle, you allow that help defender to be able to take a step or two less because they're helping him. As opposed to Shai, if you see Shai all the time, he gets to their hip, bodies up. The defender now has to come over an extra step or two. Jalen Williams gets a little bit extra room on his three-point shot now. And so, you know, I think that little difference, I think, will go a very long way for Anthony Edwards. Someone call Phil Handy. Hey, man, it's just little shit that I'm noticing. Like Shai is like a knife, dog. Like when he drives towards the basket, it's just this might not be the greatest example, right? But look at this situation. This is a tight situation, right? He's dribbling over a little bit, just a little bit, just a little bit. He does his fake just to open it up a little bit. He knows where he's trying to go right now. He knows exactly where he's trying to go. Tween goes at him. Oh, fuck.
7 from three-point range here in this fourth quarter.
Because think about it. If he opened up a little bit wider, Jalen Williams would have had to slide on over a little bit more. The fact that he took this angle to go right at Nickeil Alexander forces this help, which honestly is brain dead because Naz Reid is right there. This is brain dead. Like, he blacked out right here. Like, he literally blacked out because he shouldn't. There's no reason for this. But Shai understanding how these players and how they work, they see him driving in that direction. They're going to help.
Jalen Williams tries another one.
Wide open for Jalen Williams. If Shai was even just a fraction off in his angle, the shot wouldn't have been the same. But, you know, that is just such a massive, massive difference to me in the way he just wanted to run over his cousin. I'm weak. But it's just, like I said, it's such a difference in one player's ability to handle double teams versus another. And then, you know, when Shai gets into his bag, he's just, his mid-range game is just, it's one of one. It's shit's one of one, man. Like, it is what it is. I actually wanted to highlight something from that Lakers game because I think Luka is unbelievable. Here, let me see. There was a play in a transition, and I think this really goes a long way to why LeBron trusts Luka. And it was really a simple play, honestly, but I think most people would have made the other play. Let me try to find it really quickly. Where the fuck is it? Oh, here it is. All right, let's take a look at this. Hopefully they don't run me with a fucking ad right now.
Stolen. Instead, Porter, a good look. That won't go.
Rebound. Right here. Most average players don't make the play that Luka makes right now. And I think this goes a long way into why LeBron has faith in Luka. And honestly, it's also a difference in someone like an Anthony Edwards versus a Luka and a Shai. An average player passes this ball up to LeBron, and they'll fill the lane or they'll stop at the three-point line, one of the two. But an average player will make this play and give this to LeBron. A great playmaker does exactly what Luka does, understanding the situation, seeing who this is, seeing who's at the end of the floor, and then you play it out.
With his fifth rebound, racing up the floor, alley-oop to James. They connect again.
It's so simple, but I guarantee it, especially with LeBron on that left side of you running the floor. 9 out of 10 times, players give that up to LeBron way too early or way too late. But the fact that Luka was able to make that read in such a quick read, just understanding personnel, understanding where bodies are going to move. You know, I think Anthony Edwards needs to go and do a lot more homework He needs to improve his mid-range. I think that'll all go a long way. To get into the level of these guys that we talk about when it comes to the best of the best players in the league, right? Luka and Shea are elite at manipulating double teams. And if Anthony Edwards wants to make the next step, then he's gonna have to do that. But that's gonna do it for me for now, man. Let me see what games we got coming up today. What games we got tonight? Let's see. What is today's the 24th? We got Nets Wizards. Wow, what a great game. Bulls 76ers sleeper. That was a good read, but in that situation, Bron is like Calvin Johnson and can spin the block tonight. To your point, Elijah, hindsight is 2020, right? To read that situation and understand that Bron is Calvin Johnson, I think most players would have read that situation and said, no, LeBron James is LeBron James, the best playmaker on the floor. And that's why I said 9 out of 10 times in that situation, a player would have given the ball to Bron early, tried to take the middle defender out of the situation, and then you force Bron in a one-on-one against Jamal Murray, which he still probably scores on 9 out of 10 times. But Luka Doncic, thinking way ahead, took his man and Jamal Murray out of the situation and gave LeBron an easy basket. And that's why I think he thinks levels ahead of other players, and where most players would have looked at Bron and said, he's the best player on the floor, let me give it to him and have him make the decision. Luka got the balls to say, it's my shit. And again, maybe I'm reading too much into one situation, but that's how I read that moment. And like I said, I think it goes a long way. Yeah. Because the other part in it too, Elijah, right? It did make it way easier on Bron. You get a dumbass player to also, after they get rid of, when he got Bron on the dribble, you'll see dumbasses also give that ball up to Bron on a bounce pass and not throw the alley-oop. Like, just so many things that other players might have done that Luka just did so naturally and so comfortably. It just, I still can't believe they made that fucking trade, bro. Like, there's no way they gave up Luka. Like, bro, come on. Ooh. This is my sleeper game for the night. Timberwolves OKC. I'm excited to watch that again. He could spin the block. I will personally be looking out for. I want to see the Clippers against the Pistons. I want to see James Harden versus Cade Cunningham tonight. That's what I'm looking forward to. I want to see the Nuggets beat the fuck out of the Pacers tonight. Hopefully that's what happens. Excuse me. You also have the battle of the point guards, Tyler Hero and Trae Young in Miami against Atlanta. Bro, you ever tried to bounce pass it to someone, they caught a lob off of it? No, but I bet you that shit looks insane. How shocked were you? How shocked were you that buddy tried to cut that shit like an alley-oop? Oh, shit. Austin Reeves had some beautiful passes last night, too. Or the other night, he had a behind-the-back pass that he threw to Bron. They're making LeBron's life way easier. I will admit. But there's some really good games tonight, man. Like I said, I'm a watch out for the Nuggets Pacers game, Clippers Pistons, Heat Hawks, and then the Timberwolves Thunder. The middle part of today's games looks exciting. Looks exciting today, so I'm looking forward to that, man. But that's gonna do it for me for now. Before I get out of here, please like, comment, and subscribe if you like all that analysis and shit. We try to take this to the moon, baby. But yeah, man, please go like that shit. I appreciate y'all so much as always. I tried to call a timeout on defense. You were the one back? You were the one that got back on defense? Ain't no way, bro. Ain't no way. I remember one time they kept targeting me. There was this one guy. He was the most unbelievable shooter in the left corner. And we were running a zone defense. And they had their big stand in the same spot and pick me every single time. The first 2 times it happened, I didn't even see it. No one called it out. So I was more mad at my team than the other team. I was way more mad at my team than the other team. I was yelling at my big to step up and help. They hit 2 threes, right? This guy hits 2 threes in a row. The third time, bro, I blacked out. I literally blacked out because I was running down the floor and I said, I promise you, if they do the same thing again, I'm running their big man over. So they did the same thing again. I ran that motherfucker over, and then I instantly turned around and started yelling at my teammate. Yeah, I must have been a headache to play with, bro. I must have been a real headache to play with. No, that's definitely what I did. And then the next time he let me through. And I was mad as hell at my big. I'm like, you got to step the fuck up. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, no, I was tight. Now, once I was there with it and getting bagged, you got to just run straight through the pick one time. No, you do, bro. Like, some people don't understand. That's a part of the game. You got to do what you got to fucking do. I was tight. I was tight, bro. I was like, you not calling the pick out. You not stepping up. You making me look bad. This guy got 9 fucking points in a row. Bro, I was tight. I was so tight. But I'm not gonna lie, I do miss that shit. Like, I miss having those arguments, and we're over here talking about schemes and how to defend something, and that's the fun part to me in the game. That's why I love talking about this shit. But we could talk about this all day, but that's gonna do it for me for now, man. I appreciate y'all. Elijah, you are the fucking man. I appreciate you as always for hanging out, man. You're the fucking GOAT. Stay safe, brother. Have a great rest of your Monday and Tuesday. I will see y'all back here on Wednesday so we could talk some more hoops, man. Y'all have a good one. Y'all could have been anywhere on the internet, but y'all were here with me, and I appreciate y'all for that, man. So thank you guys so much. I'll see y'all later. Y'all have